Well, it's Ashley and Dean again. We're going through her list, and she had accrued interest calculation, and thought that that would be helpful for you guys as well. So here is 10 municipal bonds purchased with 4%. And we agreed, both of us, that this is kind of a low probability question, but every once in a while somebody tells me they see it. I would tell you more often than not, it's a recognition question on the Uniform Practice Code. What I mean by that is knowing that, buyers pay sellers the dollar amount of the accrued interest calculated from the last interest payment date up to, but not including settlement date, and knowing that under the Uniform Practice Code, corporates and munis have 30-day months and settle T plus two. We didn't want our high talent men and women to have to remember nursery rhymes and knuckle lumps about how many days after September, right? So here we go. 10 municipal bonds were purchased with a 4% nominal yield for settlement. So as a test taker, you got to be real careful whether they're giving you the trade date or the settlement date. Because remember, we calculate up to, but not including the settlement date, right? So I have one in the channel search bar. If you put in accrued interest, you can see me work 3, 4, 5 of these questions because they come up quite a bit. And one of them has a trade date that's like Friday, I think August 17th. And then you got to say, okay, well, that means Saturday and Sunday aren't business days. Monday's T plus one. Tuesday would be settlement. So that's kind of what you got to be real careful about. Okay, so the maturity dates of the bonds is July 1st, 2035. So we kind of need that as a hint, because when this bond matures, separate test issue, but you're going to get your principal back, assuming they don't default, and your last interest check. So, here our interest is 4%. That's based on par. So I'm just taking my calculator, 1,000 times 4%. That's $40. We got 10 bonds. That's $400. But on the last check, you get your last interest check. So you get 10,200 basically. You get your principal and your last interest check. But the reason that's important for us is this means it was a J&J bond. So July 1st means that the other interest payment date is January 1st. That's important. What is the number of days of accrued interest on the 10 bond trade? Well, now when I got paid on January 1st, that was for up to, but not including January 1st. So that first month is always either going to be 16 days or 30 days. Here it's 30 because I haven't been paid for any of the days in January. Now, was it J&J 15, it'd be 16 days. Because when I got paid on January 15th, that would be for up to, but not including January 15th. So that first month, if you're going to use what I call the long method, that's how you would go about it, by saying, okay, my first month is going to be 16 or 30. All right, so in terms of this question, we say, okay, so the last time it paid interest was January 1st. And remember, January 1st was for up to, but not including January 1st. So that means up to, but not including February 1st. And so that means 30 days. Now, another way you could do it, let's see if I have the shortcut here. I do. So if you want to use the shortcut, this is just a shorter way to do it. And you want to use the shortcut, you would take the settlement date. You would actually use the settlement date. In our example, the settlement date was 2/1, February 1st. And then what you would do is subtract from that the last time the bonds paid interest. So this is just a trick, but it's kind of a neat trick. We subtract January 1st. And then when we do that, we get 0. I can't help you with that part. 1 from 1 is 0. And 1 from 2 is 1 month. And you just got to remember that every month has 30 days. So I call that the shortcut. Now, remember, if you're going to use the shortcut, you're using settlements. So remember, you're doing the long method. You're calculating up to, but not including settlement. Whereas if we're using the shortcut, we're using settlements. So got to be careful. I don't think you'll see a treasury, but remember, this wouldn't work on a treasury because treasuries don't use 30-day months. So the trick wouldn't work there because you're using an actual calendar and it's T plus 1. But for test purposes, this shortcut would work fine. Okay, so I don't know if Ashley has more to share with all of us or what's on her agenda, but we did want to share a couple of things we thought people could benefit from. Remember, inch by inch, your Series 7 is a cinch. Yard by yard, your Series 7 is hard. And Ashley and I may be back. We may not. Suspense for you guys.